Well, thank you all for coming. I know it's not always easy in a busy schedule, but I really appreciate you coming. This is a great opportunity to meet 3 world-renowned neurologists, which, we don't normally get 3 people of that magnitude in the same room, so that's awesome. It's also an opportunity to mix with like-minded people, and actually, and I know some of you, this is the first time to see this amazing facility. I mean, this has to be one of the best demonstration kitchens in the world. I mean, seriously, it must be. And the facilities here at Hilton Head Health are really amazing. It is the #1 wellness resort in the world. And even more than the facilities, I personally can tell you that the team here are incredible. So this is a perfect place to be talking about a Healthy Minds initiative. Now, what is the Healthy Minds initiative? Well, in many ways, it's many things. Started by Dean and Ayesha Sherzai, it's an attempt to educate, inform, strategize, implement brain-healthy behaviors in a community, at a community level, and also really at a family and individual level. But it's an attempt to bring brain health awareness and opportunities into a community. It's nonprofit. It's a gift. It provides people with opportunities, as we'll see, to change their behaviors, perhaps in ways they didn't even realize. And I'm going to talk about that. Let me tell you a story. I've been on Hilton Head for 34 years. I mean, I get off once in a while, but I've been here for 34 years. And 30 years ago, 2 families came to Hilton Head on a vacation. And even back then, there were bike paths, and you could rent bikes, and you could ride. And one of the families, the Smiths, let's call them the Smiths, they came, they sat on the beach all week, they left, tanned, and relaxed. But another family, the Jones, came, and on the second day they decided, let's rent bikes. Now, both of these families had kids, 2 kids under the age of 7. And one of these kids had just learned to ride a bike. They said, let's ride bikes. And they had such a blast riding those bikes that every day they took a bike and a bike ride and they went round the bike paths. And when they went home, they bought bikes. And they integrated the family bike ride into their lifestyle and into their family. In fact, the kids then got really involved in physical activity. They played sports in college and beyond. And today, they still do the family bike riding thing, now with grandkids. The Smiths, on the other hand, didn't do that. And actually, not long ago, Mrs. Smith was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. Now, you're probably thinking, Howard, you're not telling me she has Alzheimer's because she didn't rent a bike when she was on vacation?
Yes.
Yes, I am. I am. Yes, I am. Because renting that bike on vacation was an opportunity. It was a chance. It was an exposure. It was a seed to better health. And when we live in a world where there are so many opportunities to the contrary, when there are so many pressures and influences to make the poor choices, we need as many chances and choices and opportunities as possible in the community so that people can catch that seed. We like to think we're educators. We like to think that people learn as they come to us, they want to learn, and they learn all about it, and they go away, and yes, they change. But that's not how it happens a lot of the time. It happens by chance. It happens by default because people find in their community, hey, there's a brain healthy thing on the menu. What the heck is that? Okay, I'm going to try it. Wow, that was delicious. When I go home, I'm going to try that. Health, as we all know, is about environmental influences. And those environmental influences are the things that are available to you in your immediate environment and in your community. Because it's small things, it's small opportunities that make a difference. So, yes, this is about behavior change. But behavior change comes sometimes bottom up, not top down. And bottom up is providing those opportunities wherever possible to people to catch the seed. Now, 30 years ago, there were two famous psychologists, Carlo Di Clemente and James Prochaska, who devised a very, very helpful model. It's called the Stages of Change model, about different levels of awareness and engagement people have when they try to change behavior. So their first step is what they call pre-contemplation, no awareness of a need to do anything. The next step is contemplation. Oh, okay, let me learn a little bit about this. The next step is preparation. Okay, I think I'm going to try this. Then there's action, I do it, and then there's maintenance. I keep doing it. That's a very behavioral, and it's really helpful, but it's a very behaviorally oriented model. I have a slightly different version. They're not mutually exclusive. You know, it starts with lack of awareness, then there's awareness, then there's interest, then there's engagement. I actually take that bike out for a ride. Okay. Then there's adoption. Yeah, I'm going to take up bike riding. Then there's purpose. This becomes part of who you are, an identity. And I bet some of you can relate that to the things in your own health behaviors, that you got involved and somehow it meant something to you that was meaningful. Now, if you don't think it works like that, I'd like you to perhaps look at a book of a friend of mine. It's called Upshift. The guy is a great guy. His name is Chad Albury. He's from the Bahamas. And a few years ago, he works in Saudi Arabia for Aramco or for one of the oil companies. And a few years ago, he looked down and realized his waistline was getting bigger. And he said, I am not going to buy size 40 pants. I'm just not, okay? I'm going to start exercising. And so he started exercising, and he asked his friend Todd to start biking with him. And he was in his late 30s. He started biking, and he kind of enjoyed it. He started going into competitive races. He enjoyed it so much that he really got competitive. And at the age of 41, he became the Bahamian national cycling champion and went to the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow 2014, over 40, and his teammates were literally half his age. Okay? Great story and a great guy. But here's the interesting thing. His family also took up bike riding, including his dad, who had a long history of cardiovascular disease and stroke risk. At the age of 66, his dad rode the first 100-miler he'd ever done, from the one part of Eleuthera to the bottom. And within a year, his dad was off all medications, and his cardiovascular risk was reduced. The point is that we influence each other. We influence each other. So what's that got to do with Hilton Head? Why Hilton Head? Well, there are nearly 3 million people who come to Hilton Head every year. And let's suppose we had a healthy initiative here, where we had brain healthy things, items on the menu, where there was a much greater awareness and organization of the exercise activities, the yoga exercise activities, the mentally stimulating activities that are available here. Let's suppose we did that. And let's suppose 1% of the people actually got engaged in that. That would mean every year 30,000 people would leave here with a seed of brain health and the possibilities for that. Now, Hilton Head, when I heard Dean and Ayesha talking about the Healthy Mind Initiative, and I know, Karen, you thought the same thing, Hilton Head is the perfect place for this. It's a beautiful place. We've got a beach, beaches. We've got ocean. We've got trees. Boy, we got trees. Okay? It's spectacular. It doesn't need much to take it and add these opportunities. Make them more obvious. And I haven't even talked about the benefits to residents yet. I'm just talking about visitors. Just think what that would do. It's all about providing those opportunities, and it's small things that make a difference. As many of you know, I was a clinical director here for a number of years, gave lots of seminars, and one of the great things of working here, and I know that Bob will tell you this, is that people come back periodically and they say, as happened to me one year, well, it probably happened more, but I remember this particular thing. This woman came back and said, Dr. Rankin, there was something you said last year that really made a difference. And I'm thinking there in my dopamine-soaked glory of all those classes in psychology and behavioral science that had led to that absolute moment of wisdom that had transformed this woman's life. And she said, yeah, when you said, take your salad dressing with you, it made a big difference. I was a little crushed, but anyway, the point is, it's small things that make a difference. It's small things. It's that brain healthy menu. It's that bike ride. It's that opportunity, maybe to come visit this Hilton Head Health and see what an amazing place it is. There are things that make a difference. Now, the other thing about Hilton Head, it's great because people come in the right frame of mind. I mean, how many people here know or actually have said it's relevant to them? I came to Hilton Head on vacation, I fell in love with the place, and we moved here. Right? You hear that a lot. Right? You hear that all the time. How many people have heard somebody say, I came here on prison detail and I really loved it, so I decided I'd come back? No, you don't do that, okay? The fact is that when people come here, they are in a receptive frame of mind to appreciate what this place has. So, small things. Small things aren't necessarily small things because they can be nurtured and then grow into amazing things. And they can change us. They can change us. And in a world where there's too many competing sources of influence going really in the wrong direction, we need that as much as possible. So the beauty of this community is it attracts people and it has lots of wonderful things, and they come here receptive to discover things. And if we can add, it's really, pardon the pun, it's a no-brainer. Okay? We have a lot of the things here. And that's just talking about visitors. Let's talk about residents. Let's talk about how that would benefit residents. Right? You can go out and have healthier food. Or there's more information about yoga and mindfulness and stimulation and all of those things that go on. There's access, there's greater awareness that you can get engaged in. Is that going to make a difference? You bet. Is it expensive? No way. Not really. Not compared to other things, right? It's not. It's not. We need to get more organized. We need to get some activity going in these areas, and it would help. Now, at the residential level, look what that would do. We have a lot of seniors here. There's lots of recommendations that come for enhanced senior care. Me? Dean and Ayesha's neuro, nutrition, exercise, unwind, sleep, rest, optimization are really critical. I have a 97-year-old mother-in-law who is at Bloom in assisted living. She's awesome. She's the sweetest woman in the world. And either my wife or I go there every day to see her. And not long ago, my wife bought some music from her era, the 1940s and 50s. Mm-hmm. And I said, let's put it on. Yep. We put it on, and before long, she's kind of singing away and tapping her feet, and has got a level of energy that I hadn't quite seen before when she's just sitting watching TV. It's not difficult. It's not difficult. So, what is happiness? Happiness is not this Western view of fun, pleasure, living a life that's stress-free. Unfortunately, I think that's a bit of a myth. And unfortunately, when we see tragic things happen, like happened to Kate Spade and Anthony Bourdain, and we see here are people who have the pinnacles of what Western life is about. They have fame, they have money, they have fortune, and they die apparently the way they did. Apparently the way they did, although you're right, there may be some question about Bourdain. What do? We go into confirmational bias. We don't say, well, perhaps our theory of what happiness is wrong. We say, oh, well, they must have been mentally ill. Perhaps, the Greeks, the ancients, had a different, and indeed accepted in science now what happiness is defined by the word eudaimonia, which means good-spirited. And the research on happiness around the world shows that that's really what it's about. That it's about virtue, it's about service, it's about giving to other people, and the pleasure of doing so. Eleanor Roosevelt said, wisely, happiness is a byproduct. It's a byproduct of helping other people. That's what it is. That's what this initiative is based in. A non-profit initiative designed to help people. Anyone who comes to Hilton Head, anyone who lives here is being given opportunities to do that. That's what it's about. We're not reinventing the wheel. So I think it's so important that we do this in this community. We have, as I say, the resources. It's not going to take a lot. And the nice thing about it, it is not competitive with the usual, understandable, materialistic practicalities. Hey, if Hilton Head gets known as a brain-healthy community where you can do all those things, is that going to be bad for business? Heck no. Heck no. It isn't. Now, in terms of community, there's some other things that we can do in the community. We talked about senior care, lots of possibilities. What about schools? One of my favorite topics and research is the relationship between exercise in schools and achievement. And one of my favorite examples is the Napierville, Illinois School District, who 10 years ago, actually longer, really got into physical activity. Now, their version of physical activity was really smart. It was things that kids enjoyed doing, not what the PT instructor told them to do. So they had dancing. You could jump a rope. But it was something that engaged them. And they had these kids do that exercise before classes. So in one study, the kids who did this improved their algebra score 20.4%, whereas the control group improved 3.8%. More importantly, the school district entered the whole district as a nation in the international study, TIMSS, which looks at math and science. And typically the US comes in about 12th in math and science behind the Asian countries. Napierville entered as a country and they were number 1 in science and they were number 6 in math. Now, okay, it's one study, but there's a lot of research. It shows the relationship between physical activity and cognitive function. I realize that might be a problem getting it into these schools, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't try it. It doesn't mean we shouldn't try it. So, I want to thank Dean and Ayesha for their Healthy Mind Initiative. As we're here perhaps, they have used it and launched it in various communities. I would love for Hilton Head to be the first East Coast community to take it on. I don't think it will be difficult. I don't think it gets in anybody's way, and I think the rewards would be great. And so I know that you as like-minded people here, I hopefully agree with that, but this is the plea that we take an initiative that is a gift, that is nonprofit, that is designed to help people lead maximal lives, to reduce the incidence of dementia, to improve happiness, to improve learning. As I say, it's a no-brainer. Thank you. Thank you very much.